Welcome to Grandpa Sees the Blinking. And please don't take any of this as financial advice and do your own research. And this is Story Time with Grandpa. Grandpa tells the true stories. And I'm planning on doing a true story hopefully every Saturday, Lord willing. And last Saturday, we told a true story about Grandma going camping with Grandpa. But this time, I'm going to tell you, and I might change the names of these people that I'm telling a story about to protect the innocent. I seen that on Dragnet or somewhere back in the day. Maybe it was Car 54. Where are you? Car 54, where are you? Does anybody remember that show? So, true story with Grandpa. Well, Grandpa, I drove semi over the road most of 50 years. And over that period of time, I got to be pretty good friends with a number of different drivers that worked at the same outfit I would be working for periodically or whatnot. And for a period of years, I ran the Midwest to the East Coast. New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Maine, all that nasty stuff. You don't want to go there with a semi. But Grandpa did. Hundreds and hundreds of times. I was out there on 9/11. I was in New Jersey right across from it when the planes hit. So anyway, this story is about Benny. We'll call him Benny. And it's a story about a truck driver that I got to know, and we'd visit. He'd be in his semi and I'm in mine, and we'd talk over the CB radio hours on end going across the United States. And Benny was very calm, very, I want to say, humble, mellow person. Just nothing like Grandpa, who can be quite boisterous from time to time and annoying. I love to annoy people. I love to irritate them. But Benny wasn't like that. Benny was a kind, soft-hearted man. And Benny would go and visit his mom up in the North Country, way up north on the reservation. At least once a year, he'd go up to see his mom and his brother and his wife. His brother's wife lived up there, and so it would be a little bit of a reunion time. And he'd like to go up in the fall, and they'd do some hunting, and they'd hunt small game, and sometimes I think they hunted deer or bear, but this time, the particular time, they were out going to hunt small game. And the night before, they went out to supper, and his brother and his brother's wife got in a heated argument. I don't know about what, and Benny didn't elaborate on what they were arguing about, but it got pretty heated, and so Benny stepped in between them and took his brother's wife home to his mother, and because he didn't want it to escalate any further than it already had. And so the next morning, they're up at daybreak, and he's going hunting with his brother. Benny is going to go hunting with his brother. And the grass was wet as they walked along, and their shoes were getting wet, but they were dressed well, and they came to a big clearing. The sun was up now in the sky, and the bees were buzzing, and you could hear a chipmunk off in the distance just chattering up a storm, warning everybody that they had company coming. And Benny, he's out walking in front, and his brother's back behind him about 20 feet or so. And all of a sudden, Benny said the next thing he knew, he was laying flat on his face on the ground in the field. And anyway, his brother had a 12-gauge shotgun with birdshot in it, thankfully, and he shot Benny. He shot him 20 feet away, blew him right down to the ground. And I says to Benny, "What did you do, Benny?" And he says, "Well, I had my brother drive me back to our mom's place, and she picked the BBs out of Benny. Lots of them, hundreds. Never even got them all, couldn't get them all out. But Benny didn't go to the doctor because he didn't want to get his brother in trouble for shooting him. So he didn't go to the doctor. His mom did as good a job as she could picking the BBs out. And the only thing that really saved Benny was he had a real leather jacket on, a real leather jacket. And that saved Benny. It really saved Benny at this point in time. And so Benny's telling me this story, and then Benny goes on, well, then the next fall, a year later, Benny goes to visit his mom again, and his brother's wife's up there, of course, and this time they just went out for supper, and things went real well. No problems, no fighting, no nothing, no arguing. And Benny thinks, okay, we're good now. His brother seemed happy to see him. His mom was very happy to see him. But just in case, Benny had his big leather jacket on again. So they're out hunting for small game, and Benny's out in front again and leading the way. And he sat down on a stump to rest. They'd been going all day. And he sat down on a stump to rest. And the next thing Benny knew, he was laying on the ground. Didn't even hear the sound. It just, bam, all of a sudden he's laying on the ground. Well, here his brother had shot him again. And with birdshot. And so Benny said that his brother helped him up, and they went to Benny's mom and his brother's mom, and she spent all evening picking birdshot out of Benny. And so I said to Benny, Benny, it's not really my place to say, but I really don't think your brother really likes you. And I said, I absolutely do not think that you should go hunting with your brother anymore. Because your brother, I know you love your brother, but your brother, honestly, I don't believe that he likes you. So I want you to promise me that you won't go hunting with your brother anymore. And finally, he promised me that he would not go hunting with his brother anymore. And a few weeks went by, and Benny and me were visiting, and he goes, I got some news. My brother got a hold of me, and he got himself a boat up there and wants me to go fishing with him this fall. and he's going to take me out fishing. I go, Benny, can you swim? No, Benny can't swim. Can your brother swim? Oh yeah, he can swim. He's a good swimmer. But Benny can't swim a lick. I said, Benny, don't go fishing with your brother. He's going to push you in, and when he does, he's not going to drive you to your mother to resuscitate you. You're going to drown. Your brother doesn't like you, Benny, and just don't go fishing with him. And to my knowledge, Benny never did go fishing with his brother. And about a year after that, Benny passed away. It was very quickly. He died over in Indiana with family, where he's originally from. And it was cancer, and it was real fast. He went from being perfectly healthy to dead in 3 months or less. And so it went quickly that way. And I hadn't seen Benny. I hadn't seen him for several years prior to his death, but I just thought you'd enjoy the story about Benny and his brother. So the moral of the story is this. If your brother shoots you repeatedly, don't go fishing with him, because it's not safe at all to go fishing with your brother. Hey, you know what? Oh, and this story, I should do Tesla commercials. It's not about Tesla, but Benny, back in those days, there was no Tesla. We're pre-Tesla, like dinosaurs. This is back in the dinosaur age. There were no Teslas back then, but I'm glad there are today. And how lucky we are to live in these times. All good things are from the Lord, and never forget it. And God loves you, and why, I have no idea, but he does. And I'm going to do story time next Saturday, and I'll tell you what, I have a myriad of stories. I have stories, and they're all true stories. You can't make this stuff up. This is real, true stories. I tell true stories to my grandkids all the time. Except they all have their shoes off. They take their shoes off when Grandpa's telling stories. And I'll have more toes than I can count pushing towards my face so I can, because they like me to wiggle their toes while I tell the story. You can wiggle your own toes if you want. I'm all for it. As a matter of fact, if you take your shoes off and wiggle your toes during Grandpa's story time, send me a message in chat and let me know. I would just love to hear whether or not you're wiggling. And it's good for your circulation. Grandpa knows about circulation. Circulation is good for you. If you wiggle your toes, it'll help your circulation, and you'll be more like Grandpa circulating. Okay, I'm going to get off here. We'll see you next Saturday. And, next Saturday for story time. And I'll be back on Monday at 11 for Tesla, unless I get an alert. And if I get an alert, you know Grandpa will be alert. See ya Monday at 11. Bye-bye.